It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work, by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson. Introduction. I want you to picture something with me for a moment. It's Sunday evening. The sun is setting, casting a warm, orange glow across the sky. For a lot of people, this is a moment of peace. But for so many others, it's the beginning of a quiet, creeping dread. The thought of Monday morning starts to loom. The overflowing email inbox. The back-to-back meetings that fill the calendar like a game of Tetris gone wrong. The pressure to be on all the time, with chat notifications blowing up your screen. You think about the 80-hour weeks that some people wear like a badge of honor, the unrealistic deadlines, and the gnawing feeling that even when you're home, you're not really present, because your mind is still stuck at the office. You might even find yourself checking emails in the dark, long after everyone else has gone to sleep. This feeling, this state of being perpetually overwhelmed, has become the new normal for millions. We've been told this is the price of success. That to achieve anything great, you have to hustle, you have to grind, you have to sacrifice your sleep, your peace, and your time with the people you love. We've been sold a story that the workplace has to be a chaotic, high-stress, anxiety-fueled battlefield. But what if that story is a lie? What if the secret to doing great, meaningful, and profitable work isn't about adding more hours, more stress, and more complexity, but about taking it all away? Today, we're going to explore a revolutionary idea presented in the book, It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work. Its authors, Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson, aren't just philosophers, they're practitioners. They are the founders of a highly successful software company called Basecamp, a company that has been profitable every single year since it started, not by embracing the chaos, but by systematically rejecting it. They've built a calm company. A place where people work a reasonable 40 hours a week, and just 32 in the summer. A place where employees' time and attention are protected like the company's most valuable assets. A place that proves you can be competitive, innovative, and successful without burning yourself out. By the end of our time together, you'll have a blueprint for a way of working and living that replaces chaos with calm, exhaustion with sustainability, and anxiety with peace. It's a message that the world desperately needs to hear. And it begins with a single, powerful idea: you have a choice. You can choose calm. Book summary. The modern workplace is sick. It's a diagnosis that might sound harsh, but think about it. The symptoms are everywhere. We hear it in the way people talk. I'm slammed. I'm buried. It's just crazy at work right now. For so many, this craziness has become their baseline, their normal. And the authors of this book argue that this sickness stems from two primary infections. First, our workday has been shattered into 1,000 tiny, useless fragments. An endless stream of meetings, emails, and chat notifications constantly pulls at our attention, making it impossible to do the deep, focused work that actually matters. People can't get work done at work anymore, so they're forced to find those precious moments of focus late at night, early in the morning, or on the weekends. Life becomes the leftover scraps of time that work hasn't already devoured. The second infection is an unhealthy, cultural obsession with growth at any cost. This hustle mania, as they call it, has convinced us that long hours and constant busyness are virtues. That sustained exhaustion is a mark of dedication, when in reality, it's a mark of stupidity. This mindset turns business leaders into tiny Napoleons, obsessed with dominating markets and destroying competitors, using the language of war to describe what should be a peaceful exchange of value. But Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson offer a powerful antidote to this sickness. It's not a magic pill or a productivity hack. It's a fundamental shift in philosophy. They call it building a calm company. A calm company isn't a lazy company. It's not a company where nothing gets done. It's the exact opposite. It's a company that is ruthlessly focused on creating the conditions for great work to happen, and that means protecting the two most precious resources its employees have: their time and their attention. This journey toward calm begins with one foundational idea: your company is a product. Just like you would iterate and improve upon the software or service you sell, you must constantly work on improving the company itself. How do people use the company? Is it simple? Is it buggy? What parts are slow and frustrating? Many businesses set their policies and work habits in stone on day one and never question them again. But a calm company treats its own operations like a piece of software that is constantly being updated and improved, version by version. So, what does this calm operating system look like in practice? It's built on a few core principles. The first principle is to deliberately curb your ambition. This sounds completely backward in a world that tells you to dream bigger, aim higher, and 10x your goals. But the authors argue that unchecked ambition is the source of most workplace anxiety. It's what leads to setting artificial, ego-driven goals that stress everyone out. At Basecamp, they have a radical policy: no goals. No revenue targets, no sales goals, no customer acquisition quotas. Does this mean they don't want to grow or be profitable? Of course not. It means they've recognized that most goals are just made-up numbers that create unnecessary pressure and often lead to compromising your morals to hit them. Think about it. When a company is desperate to hit a quarterly sales number, it might start cutting corners on quality or making it harder for customers to get a refund. Instead of chasing fake numbers, they focus on doing the best work they can, every day. Their goal is simply to be a great, sustainable business that serves its customers well and is a wonderful place to work. Those are goals you can't put on a spreadsheet, but they are the ones that truly matter. This mindset also means letting go of the need to change the world. So many companies today, from pet food delivery services to emoji apps, claim they're disrupting industries and rewriting history. The authors find this delusional. Basecamp makes a great product that helps teams communicate better. That's a worthy endeavor that makes for a wonderful business, but it's not changing the world. And by admitting that, you lift a tremendous burden off your shoulders. You no longer have an excuse for why it has to be all work, all the time. The opportunity to do another good day's work will be there tomorrow, even if you go home at a reasonable time. The second, and perhaps most important principle of a calm company is to fiercely defend your time. Our most valuable asset isn't money, it's focused attention. And the modern office is an interruption factory designed to destroy it. The authors make a simple but profound declaration: 40 hours a week is plenty. 8 hours a day is a very long time. It's the length of a flight from Chicago to London. So why does a flight feel so long, while an 8-hour workday feels like it vanishes in a blur? Because the flight is uninterrupted time. Your workday, on the other hand, is sliced into tiny pieces by meetings, calls, and distractions. You're not getting 8 hours of work, you're getting a few moments here and there sandwiched between interruptions. To fix this, a calm company must become protectionist about its employees' time. It must treat time and attention as finite, precious resources that can't be wasted. This means fundamentally rethinking how we communicate and collaborate. Meetings, for instance, are treated as a last resort. A 1-hour meeting with 8 people doesn't cost 1 hour, it costs 8 hours of collective, focused time that is now gone forever. Instead of status meetings where everyone goes around the room, Basecamp employees write up their updates for others to read on their own time, asynchronously. This one practice alone saves hundreds of hours and gives people back the long, uninterrupted stretches of time they need to do great work. This leads to a core belief at Basecamp: asynchronous first, real-time second. The expectation of an immediate response is the source of so much workplace anxiety. Group chat tools, in particular, are singled out as being incredibly destructive. Following a group chat is like being in an all-day meeting with random participants and no agenda. It creates a constant fear of missing out, or FOMO, that pressures you to stay tethered to the conversation all day. The calm alternative is JOMO, the joy of missing out. The joy of turning off the fire hose of information so you can actually focus. At Basecamp, the culture is built on an eventual response rather than an immediate one. If something is truly important, it gets written up in a thoughtful, long-form post. This forces the person with the idea to think it through properly, and it gives everyone else the time to read it, consider it, and provide a thoughtful response, rather than a knee-jerk reaction. There are no knee-jerk reactions in a calm company. They even extend this protection of time to something as sacred as the shared calendar. At Basecamp, no one can see anyone else's calendar. You can't just find an open slot and steal someone's time. Taking someone's time should be a difficult negotiation, not an easy convenience, because that time is all they have to actually do their job. The third principle is to actively and thoughtfully feed your culture. And it starts with another counterintuitive idea: we are not a family. The authors argue that when a company calls itself a family, it's often a manipulative tactic. It's usually not about giving you unconditional love and support, it's about demanding your unconditional sacrifice for the good of the family. The best companies aren't families, they are supporters of families. They provide a healthy, respectful work environment so that when you close your laptop at a reasonable hour, you can go be the best parent, partner, or friend you can be. A healthy culture is also built on trust. The book introduces a wonderful metaphor from Shopify's CEO called the trust battery. When you start working with someone, your trust battery with them is at 50%. Every interaction either charges it or drains it. If you deliver on your promises, the battery charges. If you let someone down, it drains. When interpersonal conflicts arise at work, it's often because one person's trust battery with another is critically low. At that point, every little thing becomes an annoyance. Understanding this helps depersonalize conflict and provides a clear path forward. If you want to fix the relationship, you need to start doing things that recharge the battery. And culture, most importantly, comes from the top. Leaders can't promote a healthy lifestyle if they're sending emails at midnight. What you do matters far more than what you say. Workaholism is a contagious disease, and if the boss is the carrier, it will infect the entire organization. Calm must be modeled from the top down. This also means leaders must actively ask for feedback, especially the hard stuff. The classic "my door is always open" policy is a cop-out. It puts all the burden on the employee to speak up. A true leader goes out and asks the hard questions. What's something nobody dares to talk about? Or are you afraid of anything at work? This commitment to people extends to how you hire, pay, and support them. Basecamp ignores resumes and instead gives finalists a small, paid, real-world project to see what they can actually do. They care more about the work than a fancy pedigree. They also don't negotiate salaries. Everyone in the same role at the same level is paid the same, based on the top 10% of San Francisco market rates, no matter where they live. This eliminates the stress and inequity of negotiation and ensures equal work gets equal pay. And their benefits aren't designed to trap people at the office with free dinners and game rooms. They're designed to help people live richer lives outside of work: fully paid vacations, month-long sabbaticals every 3 years, a continuing education stipend for non-work-related interests like learning to cook or play the banjo, and a monthly fresh fruit and vegetable share. These are benefits that actually benefit the employee, not just the company's bottom line. The fourth principle of a calm company is to dissect and refine your work processes. This is about being smart and intentional in how you work. A key part of this is their approach to deadlines. They don't have deadlines, They have dreadlines. Most deadlines are dreadful because the date is fixed, but the amount of work keeps growing, leading to panic and burnout. At Basecamp, they do the opposite. Their projects are given a fixed budget of time, say, 6 weeks. The deadline doesn't move. What's flexible is the scope. As the project progresses, the team constantly separates the must-haves from the nice-to-haves and cuts things out to ensure they can deliver a great, finished version within the allotted time. The team doing the work has full control over what gets cut. This simple shift turns the deadline from a source of dread into a creative constraint that liberates the team to focus on what truly matters. They also believe in the power of small teams. Almost all work at Basecamp is done by a team of 3, 2 programmers and 1 designer. A team of 3 is big enough to make a dent but small enough to communicate clearly without bureaucracy. As they say, work expands to fill the team available. Big teams make small projects complicated. Small teams keep things simple and focused. And finally, the fifth and final principle is to mind your business in a way that prioritizes sanity and sustainability. For the authors, this means one thing above all else: being profitable. Calm is in the black. Crazy is in the red. When a company is losing money, it's always racing against the clock, and that pressure inevitably trickles down to the employees in the form of stress and uncertainty. Profit isn't greed, it's freedom. It's the freedom to make your own decisions, to control your own destiny, and to not be beholden to outside investors who might push you back toward the growth at all costs model. This philosophy even dictates their pricing. Basecamp has a simple, flat monthly fee, no matter if a company has 5 employees or 5,000. They are deliberately leaving money on the table. Why? Because a pricing model where you charge per employee makes your biggest customers your most important customers. And when one customer is paying you 10 times more than anyone else, their demands start to dictate your priorities. By capping what any one customer can pay, Basecamp ensures that no single client has outsized influence, leaving them free to build the best product for the majority of their users. It's a business decision that buys them their creative freedom. Ultimately, the book is a powerful argument that the frantic, sleep-deprived, meeting-filled, anxiety-ridden way we've come to accept as work is not an inevitability. It's a choice. And we can choose differently. We can choose to have less to do by saying no to things that don't matter. We can choose to stick with what we start instead of chasing every new idea. We can choose to be comfortable with enough instead of always striving for more. Startups are easy, they conclude, but stay-ups are hard. The real challenge isn't the initial launch, it's building something that can last for the long haul, without destroying the people who are building it. And the only way to do that is to build a calm company. Commentary. As we wrap up our journey through It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work, it's hard not to feel a sense of profound relief. The message of this book is like a cool breeze on a hot, stressful day. In a world that screams faster, more, now, Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson have the courage to whisper, slower, less, later. And that whisper is more powerful than all the shouting combined. What makes their argument so compelling is that it isn't theoretical. It's a lived reality. They aren't just telling you what might work, they are showing you what has worked for them for over 2 decades. They've built a world-class, profitable company by methodically doing the opposite of what most business gurus preach. They've chosen the path of calm and proven that it leads not just to a healthier work environment, but to a stronger, more resilient business. The most powerful lesson, I believe, is the simple reframing of productivity. We've been taught that productivity is about efficiency, about squeezing more tasks into less time. This book argues that true effectiveness is not about managing your time, but about managing your obligations. It's about elimination. The goal isn't to get more done, it's to have less to do. That idea alone is life-changing, not just for a CEO, but for anyone, including a young person figuring out how to manage their studies and their life. It's a call to be intentional. To stop and ask why. Why are we having this meeting? Why do I feel the need to respond to this email immediately? Why are we chasing this arbitrary goal? Why do we believe that working on the weekend is a sign of commitment? These are the questions that can lead us from a state of reactive chaos to one of proactive calm. So, how can you start applying these ideas right now in your own life? You don't need to own a company to start. First, try this for 1 week. Schedule library hours for yourself. For a block of 2 or 3 hours each day, treat your workspace, whether it's a desk at an office or in your bedroom, like a library. No distractions. Phone on silent and out of sight. No social media. No notifications. Just you and the single most important task in front of you. Protect that time as if it were sacred, and see how much you accomplish. Second, practice the art of a considered response. The next time someone, a friend, a teacher, a boss, asks you something via text or email, resist the urge to fire back a reply in 10 seconds. Instead, take a moment. If it's not urgent, let it sit. Give yourself time to think. Formulate a complete, thoughtful answer. You'll be amazed at how this simple pause reduces your own anxiety and improves the quality of your communication. And finally, question one best practice in your life. Is there something you do just because everyone else does it? A way you study? A way you work? A way you structure your day? Ask yourself if it's truly serving you, or if it's just a habit you've inherited. Is there a simpler, calmer way to achieve the same result? The world will always try to convince you that your value is tied to your busyness. This book is a declaration of independence from that idea. It's a reminder that a well-rested mind is a creative mind, that a calm environment is a productive environment, and that a life well lived is one where work is a meaningful part of the whole, not the all-consuming center. That was a summary of It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson. We've touched on the core principles today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary can only show you the map. The real magic happens when you take the journey yourself. It's in the quiet moments of reading when a particular story or a simple phrase resonates in a way you didn't expect. This overview is designed to help you decide if this book deserves your time. If anything we've talked about today has sparked a desire for a calmer, more focused way of living and working, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning new ideas, it's about giving yourself permission to build a more sustainable and fulfilling life. Also, if you found this summary valuable, I'd be grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the world's most successful minds. Let's keep learning and growing together.